but Ivan is still a power pick. He's become a power pick, funny enough, this weekend in Hamburg.
Yeah, he came back, but initially when teams were almost so scared of a Rengar, Ivan was considered a fine matchup to play that in, so they're doubting right now. Do we go for the early aggression is what G2 is thinking, or is just taking away a comfort pick from this guy who just lost on stage, is that maybe the better approach?
Give me something like Varus here for Hylissang and Samax down the bottom lane, so they have a bit of a stronger lane with some easy CC to set up something, and give me Elise from Xerxes for the first time, because the Rengar will be too slow first few levels. I want to see something where they can really snowball lanes, but that is comfort for them still with the Rengar, and it's okay, fine, we can accept it. Not a huge fan.
Also, if memory serves correctly, wasn't it the opposite matchup the Unicorns did when they debuted it? It was the Ivern into that Rengar. Also, when comboed with that Lulu for Hylissang, it is still open and available. It was banned in the previous game. So they've got Rengar. Varus, probably one of the ADCs. Instead, they're going to lock in the support. It's Malzahar.
They should be Ashe now for G2. They can even go Ashe Lulu if they want to. That would be super strong. Caitlyn is another one. Very long range.
And a gap closer.
Yeah, long range. What you want against Malzahar in lane is long range poke, so you can destroy his passive and he can't move forward. Ashe, Caitlyn can both do it. That's why they lock in one of the two.
And with the Tahm Kench out of the equation, it's a lot wiser to maybe go for Caitlyn, who has a bit more innate distance right there. And I wonder if we just see the Lulu here, because it was the old school counter into Malzahar. Teams have started picking up more, and it honestly, it'll make it very hard for Samax to find a good pick. He almost has to pick Varus here, and that leaves like the whole mid lane play out of the equation.
But this is why I want to see Varus before from the Unicorns of Love. They just allowed Mithy to counter pick. Varus has no real counters.
Yeah, and of course this Lulu, while we expected support, it has been played mid lane a couple of times in recent weeks.
That's very fair.
Watching some of the other regions, there is some potential for that.
Definitely a flex opportunity, but more importantly, they lose the potential to pick a mid laner for exile, double ban out, and then have a different pick and van phase.
Yeah, we really need to see this Malzahar work for the Unicorns of Love, because they actually just invested so much.
Not just in the single pick, but just what in the opportunity cost of maybe getting other picks early in the draft phase. That's what we always have to look up. It's always a trade-off.
I'm a believer. Unicorns of Love have played Malzahar 9 times and won 8 games with that champion. They have done it many, many times in the past, and we're in phase 2. Orianna, Renekton are the band so far.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to highlight, just to kind of summarize the whole discussion we had here. Malzahar is not bad. He's actually really, really strong.
Great champion.
Malzahar Varus is a really good lane as well. It was more the order they picked it that actually allowed Mithy to get a very early counter pick and give G2 Esports now a 2v2 lane in their favor.
Double ban onto Perks being targeted here. We'll have to dig deep for a blind pick. Unicorns not planning on, honestly, picking their mid lane early, I imagine. They want to save that counter pick.
Yeah, basically we're looking at top lane and mid lane for Unicorns of Love, which means G2 gets 1 counter pick and Unicorns get 1 counter pick. They can kind of trade. Now, safe picks, top lane, I think it's like Gragas we'll look at very often as very safe top lane. But it's not something Vizicachi has really shown. His Renekton is now being removed.
If you look at the comps here as well, as I rudely jump in, you have Expect, who could actually just play a peel style right now. Put Perks and Sven on the carries. Then you have G2 with a very familiar style. This goes back to the good old OG days. OG Niels will show up instead of Sven here in the Protect the Caitlyn comp.
Now I want to see what Perks counters this LeBlanc with. He could take
Echo.
Lulu. I heard rumors of things like Swain being used against LeBlanc as well in scrims as a counter. There's also the very simple choice of like a card. No, actually, she's gone. I want to see the Swain then. Give me that Swain I heard so much about. He actually did it. Okay, he actually did it.
Spoiler Deficio. Way to kill the hype.
Sorry.
And Swain is locked in. Ooh.
Right, Swain and Camille. G2 again. No traditional tank. I want to talk about the mechanics of why this Swain is a counter once we get into game. How do Unicorns respond? They need a top laner.
Yeah, they need something to counter Camille.
Oh, the old school Poppy for Vizicachi. A lot of people kind of forgot where he came from, but he was this notorious almost Poppy one trick who played the champion when nobody else did. Then she got changed. He was still good on her. Turns out she was broken. Everybody was good on Poppy. And now she's been nerfed into oblivion. She comes back, but her kit works very well into Camille because you can obviously cancel out with the Steadfast Presence.
Yeah, and also whenever Camille locks down one target with ulti, you can actually just knock the Camille out. You know, just shoot her away and then it's gone, you know, no one is going to die. Unicorns of Love, it is comfort across the board. G2 Esports, a lot of it is again counter picks. Swain mid lane against LeBlanc and the Lulu against Malzahar.
And a lot of these lanes have very fun interactions that we can track. There is a million ways to outplay the Camille versus Poppy matchup, Swain versus LeBlanc, but also in Lulu versus Malzahar, playing around both the passive and the spacing in the lane, and even the amount of ammo you have in terms of Voidlings, how you max your abilities. There's so much variance possible in these lanes.
We talk much more about Swain in-game, but really the focus is just get Perkz to level 6, and LeBlanc cannot kill him 1v1. That is the key reason behind this Swain here. So, Ivern on the side of G2 this time around. More playmaking potential on the side of Unicorns. That should be good for this game here, because they were playing almost too slow in game 1.
And that's what ended up costing Unicorns. The pace of the game allowed G2's immaculate, suffocating macro to take control.
Sounds dirty.
You guys know how these hashtags work. And you guys know how macro makes Deficio and Crepo work. Let's see if G2 can play this Swain, Camille, Ivern composition in Hamburg, in the Barclaycard Arena, in Game 2 of your Spring Split Finals.
They're still here after Game 1 in the arena. They didn't leave. That would have been weird.
That sounded like a play-by-play line if ever I've heard one, Deficio.
I am trying to become a play-by-play caster. I know. I've experienced a long way to go. I have a long way to go. Oh!
Quick, change the screen.
Oh.
Cut to the casters, cut to the casters.
Oh, that's the 2017 bug splat, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so we jump in.
No TT tours today. The good old-fashioned Summer's Rift.
Unicorns waiting for some shenanigans.
Yeah, Ivern invades obviously happen very often. You can steal an early buff. You can contest Raptors as well, because you know Rengar's going to start there. That's the favorite start.
Always some of the standard paths from Rengar, going like Raptor Camp, Red Buff,
Blast Cone
Crocs.
Raptor Camp.
Of course, Blast Cone Raptor Camp. Take your Raptor, take your Red Buff, take your Crocs, go back to base, get a longsword, then you feel a bit stronger.
Gentlemen, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bored of the Rengar because we've seen him like 27 bajillion times. I only want to know about Flash, Teleport, Swain.
Okay, so Swain mid lane against LeBlanc here. First 5 levels, it can be a little bit difficult because LeBlanc can actually trade against you fairly easy.
So, solution?
Solution, you can run Teleport, and you can use it to obviously go back to lane after like level 3 or 4. Get level 6, and then when LeBlanc jumps at you, you pop your ulti and you actually out-trade her.
And more importantly, if you look at a champion, you need to assess why is this a counter. You just look at the expected gameplay. What's LeBlanc going to do? She's going to jump towards you, and you can't really aim stuff at her because she will jump back. Now what you do with Swain is you pop your Q and your E and your R, but you hold your W and you cast it actually on her distortion location. So she's stuck between either staying in front of you and eating 1 million damage, and she can't burn you, or distorting back into a never move and being screwed as well.
Yeah, and then item builds for Swain mid lane is Rod of Ages, is in every build, and then you go into either Abyssal Scepter or Hourglass. In a game like this, there's a lot of both physical and magic damage right here, but against LeBlanc, you can just see Rod of Ages, Abyssal Scepter for Perkz, and he goes to a side lane and he just pushes. Because no one can 1v1 him. Poppy, she's a tank. She's never gonna kill the Swain. This means Perkz might become the most deadly split-pushing Swain you guys have ever seen in this arena.
Well,
had to make it safe.
Yeah, you're guaranteed. You
just in case.
Just want to make sure no one on Twitter will be like, no, wait, my solo queue Swain.
Well, Perkz can play one lane, expecting Camille can potentially play another. We caught a quick glance of Hylissang being bullied by Meteor's Lulu. That sort of counter pick into Malzahar, something that we started seeing much more during the middle of the split, and something that G2 will be very comfortable with.
Yeah, it all came back because when Malzahar came out, people thought about, why is this champion so strong? Turns out if you maxed Voidlings, those buggers did a lot of damage. Now Lulu is great at slowing them down. She can one-shot them with the passive as well, and she has a lot of ranged poke pressure to also get the passive from Malzahar down. Now Malzahar has kind of changed over time though, has more become of an R-bot, doesn't build raw AP anymore. You see people build Redemption. It's no longer the AP, let me catch one guy and one-shot him as a support.
And we just keep nerfing him. So like, he just remains an R-bot. That's basically, it's gonna be his job. But Xerxes actually, because he was tired of us always talking about the standard path for Raptor into Prox, did decide to go over to blue buff and start there, did a full clear. Reason is simple. Ivern tends to invade your blue buff and steal the way with Smite. He denied that with obviously him starting on that side.
And especially when you play versus Van Miffy on double range, they will push you in and also help this Ivern steal. He avoids that by starting on the right side.
Man, we're 4 minutes into this game, and the bottom turret is already at 50% HP. Samux and Hilly are having a hell of a tough day to start off final.
This takes us back to like Forgiven and Raiden style of laning, push, poke, and just dancing on the edge. And it is honestly hard to master, but it's all about, again, small victories. Look at Samux, he steps up for CS. No, not going to happen, buddy. And now Mithy and Sven, they will always try and pair.
Wait.
CS. There's a teleport!
Unicorns fear their horns. Xerxes looking for Sven. He's going to flash away to safety. Here comes Chachi. He puts the hammer down. Sven flashes and heals. Not going to be able to get away yet. The wall. Unicorns. They're not going to get it. Now Visit Chachi's running for his life.
This is absolutely massive. Visit Chachi in an already tough matchup loses so much time. Expect gets the wave. Sven survives. If that stun connects on a turret, we have first blood. It's okay. We can chip. But the Unicorns, they put all their chips in the pot, and they get outflopped.
Such an aggressive reaction. Chachi will lose a full wave top lane, maybe even more, because Expect can just push it into the tower here. This is so huge now for G2, because Poppy was the counter pick, obviously, against the Camille, now falling pretty far behind.
And then we see Perks, he's super happy, he sees enemy jungle overextending into his turret bot lane. He's like, oh, I'm almost level 6, my job is almost done. I've played the hardest part of this matchup.
Yeah. Calls in his jungler, says, guys, let's push out this lane here so I can go back to base.
Yeah, a few details here, like he places the never move on the range creeps and slightly to the right side, so maybe he gets exile, but the main goal is that when exile steps back, he still has AoE clear, and he can just get the push for the reset.
And of course, take a look at these stats for Perks. Welcome to his lane kingdom. Shoving out the wave. In game number 1, Perks was up 11 CS at 15 minutes. Perks has had his most reliable split since debuting in the LCS.
He says it himself, it's his lane kingdom in there. Anyone who's trying to fight him, that is here on visit, on holiday, and then he will, of course, make sure they leave again. And honestly, he deserves that title for now, because his stats have been absolutely fantastic this split. I saw a lot of people talking about him, you know, as an MVP candidate as well.
He was robbed.
He was robbed, they said, but Chachi, of course, deserved that one from the Unicorns of Love. And Visit Chachi is a man we want to see really shine in this game on this Poppy with some insane flank engages.
Gonna need to actually land those heroic charges, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't find Sven against the tower, and that's starting to hurt him just a little bit.
We talk in champs like how you can knock people out with the ultimate out of the Camille ulti, but if you just force an E ability, what's it called, heroic charge?
Heroic charge.
Heroic charge. If you get Expect out of his ultimate, he's also gonna free up the target. So it doesn't even have to be the ultimate. There's 2 ways for you to break the Camille ultimate.
So getting tricked right there by Exile's little clone sneaking down behind him. Obviously,
gonna surprise them.
That is not Exile himself.
Sneaky, sneaky.
It's surprise, it actually is him.
Ah, I'm feeding. Never mind.
Yeah, that was pretty lame, guys. Sorry. But
thanks, Trevor.
Unicorn.
Hey, thanks for the support there, buddy.
We always support you. We always help you, and then you do that to us.
I consider Trevor a friend, but are we good friends, Deficio?
I think we're very good friends.
Would you invite me to your wedding?
Yes. Potentially my best man.
Would you then uninvite me to your wedding?
Never. That would be one of the worst things you could possibly do to anyone.
Trevor, want to chip in here?
No, I don't, because I promised I didn't do that to you guys, and I'm very sorry. But
Trevor did actually uninvite us.
Trevor uninvited us to his wedding, and now Trick is trying to uninvite the Unicorns from his jungle.
I don't think he can. Trick's running for his life. He's got Daisy. First blood's available. Not going to die just yet. Now Xerxes the target. Here comes Perks. First blood picked up by Exile.
Camille's behind them. Expect he's on his way. Exile is low.
He's running for his life. Xerxes can't save him. The ethereal change has bought some time. Perks has got no mana. He can't call for days.
Expect actually canceled that teleport. He was really far back in the lane, but I think maybe
it was
the
knocked.
call was, I wonder, like, we have to see that again, because ulti's on cooldown for Visit Chachi. Oh, he knocked him
He
back.
knocked him out, yeah.
That's why he's MVP.
The Unicorns of Love invite the Barclaycard Arena to believe. First blood picked up by Exile, and he's in a matchup that he's somewhat countered. Take a look down in the bottom. Chain of Corruption comes out. Samux and Hilly using the level 6 power spike. Sven's going down. Summon a heal. Look at the crabs. They're chasing. One more hit. Samux can't find it. He gets slowed down. Built of a Peacemaker tags him. Now Samux is caught in the back line. Kill will be secured by Perks.
Good reaction here from Perks with the teleport bottom lane. That was an all-in from the Unicorns of Love without level 6 on Mausa. That's another kill.
Oh! 2 for 1.
Using the Caitlyn ultimate so beautifully here. Honestly, Finn almost dropped out, but then he played on max range, and G2 also. So many teams to go for the greedy double kill right there, but they turn around and they just go for the safe option.
There's another teleport now.
Maximize yield. There's a trap. He's not going to go anywhere because that's Caitlyn.
He didn't even catch it this time.
It's going to be a lane swap.
MVP Juke.
That's the lane swap from the Unicorns of Love. Showing it very early by TPing down, but Chachi wants to keep the farm up. He's right now hit despite losing that big wave. He had, of course, the ulti on expect just before interrupting the teleport. Let's see the fight here from before. Xerxes jumps in.
Yeah, he jumps in, triggers Daisy. He jukes pretty well towards the Swain here. We see also how Perk survives. Let's watch the minimap as well to see exactly what happens.
Yeah, I actually thought, because I saw expect move back, I thought he moved even further back before he challenged it.
No, he got knocked.
He just got knocked, of course, by Visichachi with a good ulti. Very important for that fight. And this is the bot lane. Samus with level 6, that's why they're going for the fight, despite Hylissang not having 6.
I mean, they played it perfectly. It's the Varus ultimate, hoping that Hylissang hits level 6 in the trade. Double Voidling into silence right after the ultimate expires. So in terms of offensive 2v2 trade, it was the right call. The problem is, they forgot about teleport.
Yeah, and also, if you are supporting your AD carry just died in a 1v4 situation, just leave. Just walk away. You don't need to stay.
Experience.
This might happen.
Caution is advised.
Unfortunate for Hylissang.
Obviously, Mithy used Flash. 2v2 lane, level 6 ulti for Hylissang. Here's Flash. He can go for an aggressive play on Mithy or Sven.
Yeah, if there was like a jungler that could hide there, they got him.
Take a look at that. Nethergrass comes down. A little bit of a counter from Wild. Goes Sven's going down. Redemption. Not gonna land. Hylissang gets reply.
Well, I guess Hylissang was just baiting the whole thing.
And he still has Flash. He can just do it again.
Didn't even need that Flash. He didn't even need to kill Mithy either. That's top lane tower taking some damage here. Trick is there to defend.
Daisy's coming to help, but Xerxes wants to shut him down. Trick and Mithy not going to be able to defend the tower yet. Samux and Hilly, they're looking for tower first blood, but there is a hold.
Yeah, Visichachi is visiting the lane kingdom in the mid lane right now, putting pressure here. Exile losing the clone, but Perks doesn't care.
No, he does not. Gentlemen, it's a 1,500 lead for the Unicorns of Love. They've got themselves some reply kills, they've got themselves CS advantages, and Exile is plus 20 in the lane kingdom.
Perks had to leave the kingdom a few times, had to go on a tour down to the bottom lane.
Visit the peasants in the bottom lane.
Said, hello, I will take your gold and go back towards mid lane. He picked up the kill, obviously down there.
Exile obviously want to show up here too. And is honestly good progression in this split as well.
I'm glad you were honest there.
Yeah.
I don't want you to lie to me about the progression.
Thank you for pointing that out in front of this many people.
Well, I'm just making sure.
And remember, no flash for this engage. I love that fact.
Just walks up. And again, the combo is the snare. As it goes down, you see the cooldown bar go down, get the perfect silence. And that is one of the values of this Malzahar support. Yeah, honestly, Deficio.
Okay, thank you again. This is what we wanted though for, you know, some of these games early on. We wanted to see Unicorns be proactive. We want to see G2 have to react. And then a lot of small fights around the map, which then, of course, went into big team fights later. Now, we talked about Perks a lot, about him becoming a split push on this way and going to a side lane. No one can really 1v1 him. He's getting there slowly, despite being a bit down in CS.
Visichachi's going to interrupt the recall. A decent amount of damage down. Expect starting to lose this trade. Does Chachi fancy a chance here? Keeper's verdict comes out. Heroic charge needs to come available. Expect forced to run for his life.
If you're Camille, playing League of Ninja Tabi is not enjoyable, especially if you're fall slightly behind in CS. He's probably sitting on quite a bit of gold as well.
Oh, Unicorns. They sense an opportunity here. The chains onto Perks. That's going to lock him down. Never move. Catches Exile. Redemption not going to land. Xerxes gets a kill onto Perks. Now they turn the attention over to Mithy. Nethergrasp has already been cancelled. Mithy, wild growth onto himself. Here comes Exile. He's got it. Mithy is down. Now the teleport coming in. G2 looking to reply. The Hextech ultimatum locks Samux in place. He's caught out. Daisy helps out. Now Unicorns, they've bitten off more than they can chew. Got a little bit of diabetes as Daisy wants to send them home. Trick looks for the trigger seed, catches onto Hilly.
Perks is spawning right now, has teleport, so this could be an extended change. Here he is in the mid lane.
It is indeed. Where's the Ravenous Flock? Perks is finally going to arrive, but it is just too late.
He's pushing the wave. Once you get this mid lane tower, Trevor.
First blood is still available. Daisy's going to tank this one up just for now.
But it's a race against our MVP in the bottom lane. Chachi hitting a turret as well.
All right, Exile's going to try clear out this wave as best as he can. Hook shot from Expect.
He went back in.
A few seconds. Exile is in trouble, trying to buy some time. The tower.
But Chachi gets first.
Secured by the MVP and traded in the mid lane.
Exile with the sacrifice.
Oh, let's, yeah, sure.
Sure.
maybe, yeah. Let's just say it was actually buying another second there for Vizicachi in the bottom lane.
He knew it was worth it.
Oh, man. Love the fights right now. Love the fact that Unicorns are invading in, trying to stop G2 from scaling here with Swain and Caitlyn, all these different champions that will be annoying to deal with later.
Ooh, Perkz, I think, misclicked on the blast cone because he could have had way more distance right there. Just panic flashes out, did not get his ulti to trigger. He's going to join this fight later on, so this is how long this fight goes.
Yeah, this is where Mithy again with no flash, because it was used to get that kill on Hylissang earlier in the bottom lane, but then good TP from Expect, ends up trading.
Late flash from Samus as well here. You know, he flashes mid-hicks to get ultimated, actually nets it even more distance between his allies, so they can't block the skill shots for him. And the chase goes on. Double flash here. Use Hylissang. Still had it after all this time.
So all this time. TP coming in as well for Perkz in the very end, but sad for him. Not far enough back, but I think he's okay with it.
Nobody taxes his lane.
He's king. All right, let's see. Let's just assume Exile is brilliant and he wants to buy enough time. Chachi's calling. I need just a second, guys. Give me a second. Exile's like, sure. Here's a second. Yeah.
Great shot calling, what are you gonna do?
Hey, that was the sacrifice. Exile for the Unicorns, allowing Vizicachi to pick up tower first blood. Unicorns still up. Looking at the goal, 2,500. They got a second tower, guys, while we were in that replay. And now Expect is looking to punish Samus. Nethergrasp is available here for Hylissang. And here comes Vizicachi. Heroic charge into the wall. Unicorns make it look easy. Listen, we have to talk a little bit about Vizicachi. We've gone over 15 minutes. And this guy, MVP for a reason. He's just had such a great split. Huge impact, all split long.
Can we not talk about how long that Ocean Break lived, though, Trevor?
It's not a record breaker, so I don't care about it.
All right, back to Vizicachi then.
Look at the numbers while they're taking down this top lane tower. First in almost everything when it comes to these top laners. Dominating laning phase. Always been able to have good counter picks as well. Poppy in this one, pulling it back out.
And this was a great macro move from the Unicorns as well. When your opposition is taking an objective like that Ocean, you want to cross map. You want to go to the other side of the map and get maybe a turret. But if you can get a kill to boot, you actually enhance your lead with actually monetary value immediately. The dragon helps you a tiny bit, but gold and kills is obviously much better. So the Unicorns coming out ahead.
Yeah, 3,000 gold ahead to be specific, but it hasn't been at no cost, right? 3 towers to 2. G2 have got themselves a couple kills, they've got themselves a couple towers. And we're going to see a replay of Expect fancying his chances here on the Samus.
Yeah, so there's
you can't do that.
There's certain rules for when you can fight in professional play. When your team is bot lane killing a dragon, you are not allowed to fight on the other side.
Unless you see all 4 members and their teleports are on cooldown. So this Expect just buying into the hype from game 1 here, wanting to match that performance.
He probably thought Samus was playing like reckless, random split pushing, but the thing is, he's not random split pushing. There is people around him who's obviously going to catch him and kill him, just like when Reckless is doing the same thing, and people keep falling into the same trap.
We see rinse and repeat it from Hylissang and the squad. Doing the same thing on bot side here, flipping up the map constantly, hiding in brushes, trying to just surprise G2 Esports.
And of course for UOL, if they can surprise G2, that's how they can unlock this game. Exile, he's got himself that Gunblade completed. A little bit of pressure from G2 as they're shoving in this mid lane as deep as they can.
Yeah, but the fact this game is already now open and unlocked is actually not good for G2 Esports, because Sven, look at his Caitlyn build here. He needs QSS because there's a lot of fights and Hylissang can just flash onto him, but it's delaying absolutely everything. Caitlyn is the champion who wants longer laning phases. Want to just take down these towers here, just rotate around the map and not really fight too much early mid-game. He's been forced into some of these fights, and it's actually setting G2 and their comp pretty far behind.
Yeah, you want to go BF into Hurricane ideally, then finish IE and go for QSS if you can stall long enough, but the constant forward pressure from Unicorns forces him to take a detour with the QSS.
All right, Nevermove's going to hold Vizicachi in place. He puts the verdict down just to get rid of Daisy. Daisy replies with a knockup of her own. Exile tries to get damage down onto Trick. Keep following Vizicachi. Perkz slowly running out of mana. Trick's in trouble. Expects buying time in the back end. So far, maybe a 1-for-1. Vizicachi's down. Expect gets Hylissang. Instant reply from Samus. Now Xerxes running for his life. Exile wants to buy some time, and Perkz, he's got no mana for the flock.
Yeah, but there's no better indicator than a Perkz or a Swain with low mana, because it means the fight went long. He could deal maximum uptime on the ultimate, which means Unicorns could not burn through any priority target other than Expect, who was doing a great job in the backline, keeping 2 people busy.
In the end, 2-for-2 trade though. Unicorns of Love. Always looking for pressure around mid lane. Again, that's one of the reasons QSS is here for Sven, because he knows he needs to defend mid lane, and he can't if Malzahar can just flash ult him and he dies. So Perkz now pushing top lane. 2v2 actually up here.
Yeah, got some support. Much more damage on the side of UOL, but Xerxes doesn't have really the hit points to play around with. Xerxes got a lot of mana as well, and they're going to keep pressuring this tower. So G2, they made the proactive play and expect this time round with a great sort of flanking engage onto Samux and Hilly, keeping them out of that fight.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to watch it again to see if he could maybe keep them busy without actually engaging and just using the threat of the engage, but he still did his job right there in the backline, and that's going to be his role throughout the entire game, diving onto these low mobility targets or keeping LeBlanc in the cage and then having Swain just obliterating it with the birds.
Yeah, look at those stats on your screen, by the way. Unicorns of Love, 19-3 went ahead at 20 minutes, but G2 went behind at 20 minutes, are 6 wins, 5 losses. Around 50% of the times, they're able to bounce back. This is a team that rarely makes more mistakes, and UOL have to find ways to punish G2.
Yeah, and in this 1v1 composition, they're definitely going to prioritize Herald as an objective, especially with 3 turrets open already. There's not much reaction possible for Unicorns.
No, Unicorns will only look to teamfight in this game here, so losing even more on a side lane can actually hurt them a lot, especially because Riptail helps when it comes to getting down these turrets. So now objective going over to G2. Expect will, of course, pick that one up. And we're going to see the very classic Unicorns of Love playstyle where you surrender the side lanes and you go mid lane. And then mid lane, you try and just engage. It's on Hylissang with the flash ulti from Malzahar to really start the fights.
Yeah, and you see that opposite style emerge in G2, especially if you start researching the amount of creeps they take from 15 to 30 minutes in the game. So in the mid game, G2 takes substantially larger amount of creeps compared to the Unicorns of Love. I think G2 ranks somewhere first and Unicorns maybe 6th or 7th in that regard, because G2, they prefer playing on the open map, you know, maximizing the resources. Similar with Trick, how he's always looking for maximum camp clear.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons, if you do not manage to succeed when you force these plays in the mid lane, you fall even further behind because multiple lanes are being farmed. Youngbok in the coach interview before the game, he talked about exactly this, how Unicorns of Love need to always force in mid lane, and if you stop them there, if you actually beat them there, you win the game. But if you lose those fights, suddenly you got to go next game.
21 minutes in, 2 QSSs have been picked up for G2 to help counter that Nether Grass. But look at the CS advantages here across the board for Unicorns. They've got a gold lead, they've got a farm lead. They also have some tools to create those engages, assuming they get past those QSSs.
Yeah, but those QSSs may just buy enough time to get out of the CC for them to lock it, and the double redemption that's coming to force Unicorns of Love to really target select smart. Because if they don't get the same target down at the same time, Sven will just get untouched in this fight, and he will carry. He has shown that he knows how to play both frontline, backline with this Caitlyn in honestly previous seasons.
Now, I would love to see actually Mikhail's coming in from mid lane to help with some of this CC. Trick might get caught a little bit here.
Native corruption slowly starting to spread. Wild growth has already been used. Trick is just, Jesus, he's locked down for days. Xerxes hops in, he's forced to run away. Exile through the exhaust, not gonna find the kill. All of a sudden, Xerxes down. Exile, ace in the hole. Sven gets the kill.
Fantastic exhaust and polymorph from Miffy set G2 up for victories. Perks is still 90% HP.
Here comes Vizichachi. Heroic Charge didn't find a stun. Keeper's Verdict once again knocking away Daisy. Daisy gets a reply though. Vizichachi knocked into the air. Never Move comes down. And Sven is on a killing spree.
Suddenly they're looking at Baron right now. Daisy still with 1600 HP on the side of G2.
This is why so many people hate playing against Ivan. He's so annoying. Long legs, trolling around, walking. And then he is so damn tanky. Sure, people hate long legs, but Hylissang looking for a steal. I don't think it's going to happen.
He's done it before.
It's not a Lulu. It's not a Glitzerlon. Samux with a piercing arrow comes out. Nevermove will zone him away. And it's not going to be done this time round. Easily secured by G2.
Oh, he flashes for it.
Oh, and Expect gets a reply kill.
That worth it?
Not for one kill, no. Save the flash for a future fight. But getting Baron is very worth it if you are G2 Esports. And we just talked about this. Unicorns of Love, going mid lane, forcing a fight. If you win that fight, well, then you suddenly win the game. That's exactly what G2 just did.
And they're so decisive. When somebody goes in for a pick, mostly Hylissang, Liar Thresher, or Malzahar, the entire team follows. They do not stop to question, is this a good idea? Will it work out? They find out through trial and error, and this time it was error.
I can't believe how long Trick survived. He had CC for about 12 seconds, and yes, there is redemptions and shields all the way along, but Unicorn just unable to find that final kill, and all of a sudden, they are now on the losing end of the game.
It becomes quite scary for Trick, who was so reliant on his flash and his redemption, and he felt so safe, and then suddenly he's suppressed, and he cannot use either at that point, and he honestly feared not buffering it in time. Now Expect could use his flash.
He can indeed. Teleport's coming down from Perkz. Exile's going to join this fight just a little bit late. Battle Roar buys a few seconds. Xerxes survives, gets away with his life. Keeper's verdict, the Poppy Copter is winding and firing. Not going to send anyone away. Redemption will heal up UOL for a few seconds longer. And Expect is punished. Also, they get the teleport from Perkz.
And this is something the Unicorns do extremely well. When the opposing team has Baron or is setting up a split push, they attack it very early on.
Important for the Unicorns of Love. Winning one fight to delay G2 Esports here. They trying to shut down some of this Baron buff. Still 2 minutes left on it though. Perkz, as we talked about in Champs, like, just getting so scary on this one. He obviously skipped the Abyssal Scepter because he went for the QSS, so he can now go for Hourglass. And that's the thing, he's like a bruiser basically. He's a semi-tank that we have to deal with. So this is the engage in mid. And as long as G2 stays alive at first, then all the ultis are gone from the Unicorns of Love, and everything is used on Trick.
But Xerxes late, his dash actually does not deal damage, so if he did not path backwards, I think Trick would have actually died and would have been a victorious fight here. So for the first time in ages, we see a bit of a communication error here between the teams. Xerxes was going out, his team was going in.
A little bit too greedy as well from Exile, trying to go in and finish the kill in the end. Like, just accept that he's gone, you got a flash. It actually sets up the rest of the fight. The fact that Exile jumps in and dies. Now bot lane.
All right, Vizicachi and Xerxes, they're looking for a target. Perkz is the man. Wild Goat knocks him up into the air. The Ravenous Flock is on cooldown. He hasn't got the sustain just yet. Expect puts down the baby cage, and there's no Keeper's Verdict. It was used earlier in the fight. Unicorns are losing the team fight to G2. Expect tries to engage with a hook shot, manages to get out of range of the Chain of Corruption, and Baron opens up Unicorn's base.
Yeah, what a nasty frontline. Lulu, Ivern, Swain to tear through that. It's gonna be so hard. It requires you to have healing reduction in your builds, maybe an ignite, and just focus the same target. But G2 are weaving in and out of fights, and then you're always forced to switch with the Zonias. And in all of that, Sven is just whacking away as well.
It's just a big problem for Unicorns of Love. They're not gonna win the split push war against the Swain. But they can't really win these team fights either now that they're falling behind against the shields and the extra HP he gets back. We talked about how there was this big opening in the mid game where Sven was sitting on almost no completed items, and that was where you needed to win as Unicorns. But when they lost that mid lane fight and lost the Baron, they just put themselves so far behind in terms of gold, but also in terms of the composition.
We can see how the itemization from G2 is really starting to pay dividends. Those QSSs reducing the possibilities for UOL. Ardent Sensor for Miffy. Hell, there's even a Knight's Vow.
Yeah, the Knight's Vow is actually really smart. When you play against a team that is known for, honestly, focusing the same target over and over, and also just needing to do that against your composition, having any abilities to slow down that burst and maybe sharing the burden is fantastic. So in that sense, on the tanky jungler like Twig, really good item choice.
So we see the fight again here. It's a good flank being set up by Vizicachi and Xerxes, but even with Perkz sitting without ulti,
never mind.
Thorn, Exile's down! He gets killed by Expect. Vizicachi's in the fight. He's already used the ultimate. Sven is running, gonna join this fight very, very late. Samux, flash is available. Is gonna get locked inside the baby cage, gets a lot of damage down. Wild Growth buys some time before Expect is killed. Here comes Xerxes, he's hopped in. Hylissang is taken down by the ace in the hole. Now Vizicachi and UOL are running for their lives. Redemption will heal up Chachi for a few seconds. He's gonna turn onto Sven. Doesn't have enough damage, but he's buying time, trying to get those death timers lower. And G2 again win another team fight.
Another team fight for G2 Esports. Another tower now going down. Bot lane inhib already open. Samux is trying to defend with Xerxes, but Unicorns of Love can't seem to find a way to win. And once again, it's Exile jumping in, getting punished.
Yeah, we did not see that start. It may have been a polymorph from Lulu that came out and really slowed Exile down. Maybe it was another CC chain landing onto Exile, but if Unicorns lose their main assassin, they no longer have that combined backline threat, and it makes it very easy for G2 to play this slow creeping on you playstyle, hitting whoever is in front.
There was a big discussion and thoughts around which team is the better team fights, and we've praised Unicorns for being arguably one of, if not the best, and always followed it with, but G2 can match it. And you're starting to see it in this game. They were down 3,000 gold, they punished the UOL engages, and now all of a sudden, G2, 2 inhibitors down at 28 minutes.
And that's just the thing. The only thing that really punishes G2 in Europe is when they get to play against something completely unique, something they don't normally face. Unicorns of Love are no longer that team who will just bring out random champions left and right. They have locked in very key comfort picks. Let's see the fight here before Exile jumps in. Obviously, we get polymorphed instantly, and then he just dies. I think there was a trap under him as well.
Yeah, it shows the value of this Lulu support. Why a lot of people go 3 points E and then 5 points W. Check if Miffy did the same. definitely did. The polymorph is just so potent, especially against assassins with no way out.
We see Unicorns again with all these comfort picks. G2 Esports, they know what they're going to play against. They know how Unicorns play. Mid lane, mid lane, mid lane, mid lane. They are responding in a game like this despite falling behind. It's good scouting, so it's great, obviously, work from the G2 organization. And then it's just them not really getting surprised.
Yeah, 2 smart pick and bans, ahead in game 1, behind in game 2, with the same consistency that has netted them an almost undefeated season is still shining through in playoffs here. Just a master display of skill here from G2 Esports.
There is no doubt that G2 are still currently the kings of Europe. The Unicorns, they're 4,000 gold down. By the way, look how disgusting Trick's build is right now. Mikhail's Crucible, Lockets, Knight's Vow, Redemption. Hylissang's gonna get dropped before this teleport can finish. Exile gets locked inside the ultimatum. Chachi gets turned into a munchkin, and he's trying to get in. Starts to wind up the Poppycopter and gets rid of Sven. That will buy some time. Samex is still untouched, but he can't burn through everybody on G2. They managed to get a kill on Zamithi. Chachi's running for his life before he's shut down. That's a double for Sven, and UOL are routed once again.
Yeah, and this is obviously the Unicorns trying to fight their way out. They knew they had no vision in the Baron area. It was almost spawning. They had to go for a play where Perks could not join. But even in a 4v5 scenario, G2 Esports still reigns supreme. Expect going to buy time because G2 are heading straight for the juggler.
They are indeed. The Nexus is the target for the rest of G2 Esports. At 30 minutes, Exile and Hilly have to do some monumental work. Exile's going to double dash in, forced to jump away with his life. The Nexus turret number 1 has fallen. Hylissang is being dropped and forced away. There's not enough wave clear. There's not enough damage. Not for the Unicorns to survive. G2 Esports are looking to win the game. G2 are looking for their first 3-0 ever.